Hey, everybody. This is Mother Teresa here. Listen, I hope everyone's had a great day. This is my third video of my 30-day YouTube challenge to post content consistently for a 30-day period. And so I'm just going to jump right in and just say, I hope that everyone who has taken this challenge, that you're doing okay. And if you're not, let me just say, keep going. Don't give up. We can do it. We can actually get to the finish line. Day 3, if you're doing it, keep going. Don't give up. Listen, on my way home today, I listened to a young lady named Dodash. And this was my first time listening to her today. And let me just tell you, she is the real deal. I listened to several of her YouTube videos just kind of back to back, back to back, back to back. You all know how it is that when you hear a good thing or you hear something good, it's like, give me more, give me more, give me more. And that's the way that I felt as I was listening to her on my drive home this afternoon. And so one of the things that she stated is something that I really, really wholeheartedly believe in, is that we have to share our story. If you've been following me for any length of time, or if you've been on my other platforms, you know that I often talk about that we all have a story and that we need to tell our stories. No one can tell your story better than you can. And I always say, if you tell your own story, then it takes away from other people being able to try to out you or to spill the tea or the gossip or whatever. Tell your own story, beat them to the punch, and take away the power that they think that they have over you by sharing your story. So as she was talking today, I was just listening at the various things that she was talking about. She talked about, if you are a pretty lady, you should be on social media, on YouTube. You should be on here sharing and your story, sharing, whatever. And if you have just a story to tell, then you should be the one to tell it. And you should be on here, doing these things so that you can make revenue because they are looking for people to share their story. And one of the things I will say that she also said, not just the people that were pretty or whatever, but she said it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you think you may or may not, have all of that going on. Get on here anyway because you have a story to tell. She tickled me when she talked about, thinking that she has to put on a wig or she has to wear her makeup or she has to do these things and, thinking that she had to do all of that. But when she started just being herself, then that's when she noticed that, things began to turn around, among other things. And I can't tell her story again like she can tell her story. But you all, if you haven't connected with Dodash, please go over and listen to some of the things that she had to say because they are amazing. She's a great storyteller, and her words and the way that the calmness about her voice, it was just very peaceful. So let me tell you all a little bit about my own story. Again, like I said, we all have our stories that we need to tell. One of the things that I do realize is that sometimes part of our stories can be things that we're not always most comfortable with sharing. We're comfortable telling about the good things. We're comfortable telling about all of the victories, all of the accomplishments, all of the things that seem to make us what people would think of as upright citizens of society. But there are things that have happened in some of our past that we feel somewhat embarrassed about, ashamed about, guilty about, um, judged, about. But that is our story. That is who we are. One of the things that I've often shared is that as a young teenage mom, I was a teenage mom in the going into the 11th or 12th grade. I had my daughter, and what a blessing. What a blessing that she is to me in my life and my husband. Yes, that's her dad. I've been married to my high school sweetheart. Since we've dated when we started dating when we were 14. We got married when we were 20, and we've been married for 40 years. So my children's dad. One of the things that we talk about, or we often reflect together about, being teenage parents. And that is a huge, huge thing and now let me just say this, the stigma attached to being a teen parent is not the same as it was when I was a teenager. I'm 61 years old, and I know I don't look like it, but I am 61 years old. Um, but the stigma that was attached to teen parents back then is not the same. It's not the same today. Sometimes, as a teenage parent, other parents may not have wanted their daughters to play with a unwed teenage mom. Now let me just say this while I'm right there, the guys, there was no stigma a lot attached to the guy, but it was always to the young lady. But a lot of times back then, and I don't know if any of my friends, because I had a very small circle of friends, but I don't know if any of my friends' mothers or fathers ever said, hey, you cannot be friends with her anymore because she's pregnant, or she's a teen mom, or she's going to be a teen mom. I don't know. They very well could have. Um, because I'm just going to go back in them and say this. A lot of times they say the good girls are the ones who get caught up. The good girls, the smart girls, and all of that. The girls that it's their first time. Yes, that's me. But let me just say this. It did not. I did not allow me having my daughter at a young age to deter me from the goals and the dreams that I had. Yes, it was very difficult at times being a teen mom, but I'm so very grateful for my mother who helped me in so many different ways. But she also, the biggest help that she gave me was she made me take responsibility for my daughter. She was not the mom that said, oh, go out and do what you're going to do and party and do whatever, and I'll watch your daughter for you. Even though I didn't do those type of things, that I was never the girl who was out partying, who was out doing this and not doing that. That just wasn't me. And here's another key thing that I'm going to tell you about my story. I was raised in the projects. And my mom was very particular about the things that we did and the people that we hung around with, because she wanted us to understand that this was just a temporary place. We're just here to get on our feet, and then we're out of here. And so, but one of the things as I was talking, or as I was sharing, and this is relatable, this is something that I know other people probably have dealt with as well, but it's something that sometimes people don't want to talk about. But I'm not embarrassed, or I'm not ashamed of my story. There may have been a time that I wouldn't share it as much, but I feel like this. God gives us every experience. He gives us everything that happens. He allows things to happen in our lives that then we can take that information and then we can share it with somebody else to hopefully encourage them that, hey, if I can do this, if I can share with you my story of how I was able to come through, then you can do it too. So let me just say this. I share my story not because I am so proud of all of those things that happened or the way that I went about doing it, but neither is there any guilt or embarrassment or shame associated with it. Okay. Again, my daughter is she's my oldest child, the most beautiful blessing that I could ever ask for. And she was the perfect child. I say the perfect child. But also going back to the stigma and all of those things, my daughter was a blessing because um, my pregnancy, no one knew except for me and my husband until it was time for me to deliver my child. That's another story for another time. But let me just say this. So I'm grateful that she's healthy. I'm grateful that she was born with no defects or anything like that. But when we share our stories, when we talk about the things that have happened to us and through us in our lives, it's for not just you that are experiencing that thing, but it's for other people. Because let me just tell you, we are going through so many different things in this life. And there are so many things that people are struggling with and they are trying to get a hold of. They are trying to just make it from day to day. And that's one of the things that Dodash was talking about is the struggles that she's had and not necessarily wanting to work a 9 to 5 because of the extended hours that she was having to do, but also having to pay over $150 a day to rent a car just to be able to do the DoorDash. So people have their struggles. You have your struggles of trying to pay your rent or to pay your mortgage or to just be able to make ends meet. And so having a 9 to 5, I will say this. I absolutely love my 9 to 5. I'm a public school administrator and I absolutely love it. Again, another story for another time. But I absolutely love it. As I was saying, as a public school administrator, I absolutely love my job, and which is my 9 to 5. But I am looking forward to retirement pretty soon. And I do know that I want to set up some things. For me, part of my story is that I want to set up some things that I will be able to enjoy or indulge in after I retire. So the YouTube and all this social media things, that's part of my story. That's part of what I enjoy doing. And I anticipate being able to continue to do that. So I'm just going to kind of start wrapping things up right now. Listen, you all, for those that, again, as I stated earlier, if you started this 30-day challenge, make sure that you stay in it for the full 30 days to see how your things look different at the end of the 30 days. Let's see if you have new followers, new subscribers. Let's see about your views on the things that you're posting and be consistent with the posting. Make sure that you're posting consistently. Some believe that you need to post every day. Some think, you don't need to do that every day. That's my goal. I want to see if I can do that for about 20 minutes, if at all possible. And also be relatable. Be very relatable when you're sharing the things that you're sharing um, on YouTube. Be relatable. Share who you are. Talk about the things that you're going through that other people can relate to. And hopefully, those will be the things that will continue to pull in those new subscribers and let people know who you are and what you're all about. And hopefully, on this YouTube Made Easy, we can all begin to see some fruits of our labor. You all enjoy your evening. I've had some technical difficulties on tonight and especially last night. Listen, I was able to go live for the first time on last night. And guess what? I did the entire live with my screen turned sideways. And let me just tell you all have been so nice and so kind and, offer such nice words. But the main thing that I received from all of that is that you said, keep going. Keep going. Even if it was sideways, keep going And that's what I plan to do, you all. Listen, I have enjoyed, I almost said grandstanding with you all, but I have enjoyed visiting with you all on tonight. But let me just tell you, tap into those people who I mentioned earlier, Dante London, Hannah, and Dodash. Tap into those people and any of the other people that are coming across your feed because they have great things to talk about. You all be blessed and good night, everybody.